Welcome back into the Sean podcast. I myself am Sean Usher. This is Sean Cummings. Today we are coming out with the wrestling pod a little bit early. Now, no, it's not going to hit until about Friday morning, but, you know, I do what I can. Anyways, we just going to get into it. Say what's up to him, Sean.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back, Fighting Family. We missed you guys. It's the same two guys. It's the same two amateur opinions that you've come to know and love. And this time, we are talking about wrestling. Now, it is a little bit earlier than normal, but we're going to have all the same goodness, all the same funness. And I really hope that everybody out there was able to celebrate Awesome 316 Day. I hope you had yourself some Steve Weisers. Maybe you stunned your neighbor. Maybe you stunned your boss and a coworker. Maybe some family members. Who knows? Whatever it is, I hope you enjoyed it.
Try not to stun people out, it turns out badly. Anyways, moving on. I do apologize. The whole reasoning here while we're going early is my fault. I got some previous engagements, and we're going to be missing out on SmackDown this week. You can all blame me, but that's okay. That's okay. Show goes on. And this week we're starting out with Impact. And Sean, first of all, how about you go ahead and celebrate?
Wait. Do you mean talk about the pay-per-view pick'em game we played last time?
Yeah. Go ahead and celebrate.
So we want to share the news with who won this time?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we'll share it. In a 30-22 landslide. And new pay-per-view pick'em champion. This guy.
I don't know if you can really take the title. I mean,
I said
good
and
for you.
new.
Good
and
for you.
new.
You got one.
Okay. Considering that I didn't know anything about Impact going into this pay-per-view,
Neither did I.
I'm really impressed with myself, not gonna lie.
All right, but moving on to that said organization, let's talk about some Impact. So, today, I'm going to jump all over the place. I'm not going to go from this was the first match, this was this. No, we might not even touch on some of the matches. We're just going to, organically go through this. But first, I want to go with some Brian Myers. Now, with that, it was a good match. Had something on there that we thoroughly enjoyed at one point. But I also like the stuff that happened on the program next around, where he's still seeing the same guys, and he's kind of like, something, y'all back up off of me, I'm done with all y'all. It's a good way to try to end a feud.
Yeah, I think a good way of ending a feud is, doing a backpack stunner from the apron through a table. Well, I think that's a great way to end a feud. Too. Yeah.
But, it just shows that both are moving on. It was a good match, though. Good match.
Yeah.
I know that they're actually using it to promote a new feud, because the one guy that came in to help was actually Brian Myers' friend, not the other guy.
Oh, it's Matt Cardona, right?
Yep. Matt Cardona came in to help.
Yeah. I'm catching on to these things here. Go. Okay.
Now, this doesn't need too much of our attention. We're going to move on to one, and I'm going to bring up one of the major ones right now. So, if you don't know, FinJuice are your new Impact Tag Team title holders. And I'm all for this. Sean seems to want the Good Brothers to hold on. No thank you. Give me some FinJuice. And they came out, they had a match on Impact, and they beat that team too. I believe it was Quadruple XL or Triple XL, whatever the name is. They beat them down too. And then Good Brothers came out asking for their rematch, and FinJuice is like, something, you get your rematch. But when we come back.
Come back. They're leaving for Japan for a couple of weeks, couple of months?
About a month or so.
Man. Yeah.
But I think they're supposed to be back for the next pay-per-view.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I was really like, this has been the first time I watched Impact, so I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea where storylines were, but I was pleasantly surprised by the action during Sacrifice. I thought it was a great card. All the
Yep.
matches on the card, they were entertaining. I really enjoyed it. It's something like, you know what, I could sit here and watch another episode, and I did. And I watched this week. You know, as we get into more storylines, like I'm still catching up on some things, but the action was pretty good.
No,
You know, Triple XL was no competition for Finn Juice, but I really love the Good Brothers, especially on the mic. They do great work. Anderson and Gallows together, they are
Yeah.
very entertaining, very funny.
now, we did discuss this. Impact. I know you don't watch us, but maybe you should. You need to get your crowd situation worked out because it's weird. We hear crowd noise and we see nobody. I mean, at least WWE got the Thunderdome where you can see people and it's not as jarring. This is like, hold on, like, is there an echo chamber? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I gotta say, probably the first match or so, I kept thinking to myself, I hear people, but I don't see people, right? You know, everything's piped into the Thunderdome, but at least they have the visual, the screens there where you can kind of see people's reactions, which is kind of cool, creativity there. You're figuring NXT, they have people around the ring, not many, but they got
Right.
some, you know, people
AEW,
making
same
noise.
thing.
Same thing with AEW. But then when it came to Impact, it's like,
Ghost
where are the
Town.
people? Where is this noise being piped in? Are there people behind the camera that we
That we
don't
can't
see, and they're
see?
the ones doing the cheering? Like, I don't know what it is. But that didn't bother me too much after probably the first match or so, because then I just got used to it. Then I just figured, okay, let's just roll with it. Unusual times, unusual circumstances. However they are being creative, as long as they're being safe, perfectly
Also,
fine.
just to say something you agreed on also, getting into Impact, when let's say familiar, not necessarily face, but voice we got to hear, D'Lo Brown.
D'Lo Brown and Matt Stryker. You know, if you watched those early seasons of NXT before it was an actual show,
Yeah,
like Raw and SmackDown, like back in the day, the NXT was that whole, what was it, like that reality TV about becoming a superstar. I remember Daniel Bryan was on season 1. And yeah, got to see a little bit of Matt Stryker, got to see some or hear some D'Lo Brown.
Yeah.
Yes. That was enjoyable. I like that. Good touch on Impact. I know you did it just for me.
Speaking of another familiar face, segue. We had the Beer Guns and Violent by Design match, and solid match overall. But who showed up to spoil the show for Beer Guns? Rhino.
It's always nice to see familiar names, familiar faces. I have no idea how he plays into the storyline yet. I'm still catching up on that. Good to see him though.
Apparently, Violent by Design actually beat the hell out of Rhino before, which put him away for a while. But apparently, with Violent by Design's like kind of gimmick, they beat him into joining them. It's that old gang mentality.
Gotcha. I mean, isn't that how it always works though? No, we don't condone this stuff. Sorry, people, we don't condone this. No.
We're gonna speak on that later. Next up, talk about one of the best matches of the night for Sacrifice: Ace Austin and TJP. This is wrestling these days. This is what it is. This is what we want to see. These two did everything you love about new wrestling.
Yeah, that was a really entertaining match to watch, those two, and I know it was kind of a lengthier match, or it felt like a lengthier match, but at the same time, it's like you need this much time to allow them to get into really that rhythm, that groove, and man, that was entertaining to watch. I would go back and watch that one again. That
All
was
the
really fun.
counters, man. All the
Yeah,
counters was
they're both
just
so acrobatic, and that's the great thing about this X division is, you have what would be considered smaller superstars, but they can do things like your larger superstars can't. Like, you're not going to see Rhino doing half of this stuff.
No.
You're not going to see Gallows doing half or quarter of this stuff, just because their size and their skill set is a little bit different. But what we got from Austin, what we got from TJP, very entertaining. I really like that.
And on top of it, unlike WWE, like the next Impact show, you got a line of contenders who want this belt. They make this belt seem important.
Wait. You mean they push not monster superstars? Like, you don't have to be like 6'5" and 260 pounds to get a push?
No, that's not
What?
a thing that's odd, right? It's weird.
That's strange.
It's very strange.
You mean they're not in NXT? What?
No.
Huh.
Very, very odd. All right, next up, we're gonna get through. So first, it's the female tag match, and I mean, I don't think it was outstanding. It is what it was. You showcase the difference. Yes, these are bigger women, like in terms of muscle and size, but these two are better as a tag team. Like, teamwork matters in a tag match.
Sure does. And we got to see really a lot of variety with this match, because we had Fire and Flava, and their style is a little bit different than Jordan Grace and Jazz, but it was so.
And I think this is the one that got you the swing to win.
This one did it, yeah. I think I put what? Oh, I got the scorecard here. Hold on. Yeah, this one was the difference maker, because I gave Fire and Flava 6 points. You gave Grace and Jazz 5 points. So if this match went the opposite way, I would not be able to say.
Right.
And no. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. So I'm really happy about this match.
Now, hold on to that. We're going to go for the title match, which was Deanna Peruzzo, I believe is her name. I might have butchered it. And then ODB. And solid match. Had some entertaining things. Funniest part to me is when Kimberly and what's that one's name? Susan? Yeah, Kimberly and Susan get sent to the back. Kimberly was sitting there like, whatever. Like I was looking, I was like, oh, okay, she got more attitude than anybody I've seen so far. But of course, what?
During the match, I was kind of surprised, because Kimberly did like that roundhouse, did that kick on Jazz, or not Jazz,
right,
but on ODB, and the ref saw it.
And just let it go. Just let it go.
I'm like, isn't this supposed to be like an automatic DQ, right? Aren't we supposed to end the match here when there's outside interference?
But the commentators sold it.
Already?
They sold it. It was like, no, they want it to end in the ring.
I mean, it was a great job covering for it, but you're thinking, that should have been called.
You should have called something.
Should have been called.
Now with that, Deanna still does retain, but
still
come back around to to Impact on Tuesday. We have a 6-way tag match, which was actually really entertaining. There was absolutely no control during the match whatsoever.
No, it almost seems like the refs in Impact are even more useless than any other promotion. The refs are just there to count to 3. They really don't care about what happens. They have no order. They have no control. I think at multiple points you had all 12 women in the ring at one time, and then at one point you had all 12 women out of the ring at one time. The ref had no control over this. I felt sorry for the guy.
And I don't know why, but I really like Havoc and Nieva. I want to see them wrestle more. I don't know. For some reason, they're entertaining.
Yeah, but they're along those lines of a true tag team. At least that's what it looks like to me. That true tag team, they have that level of comfort and familiarity with each other that, they perform well as a team in the ring. And we saw that during their match, their intergender tag match against Tennille and Caleb with the K.
Yep.
We saw some of those same things. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to. I got 2 more points for Impact. The next one, I forgot the other guy's name, Trey something, but Sami Callihan. This is a good match.
Trey Miguel.
This is a good match. This is a real good match. It was on Impact on Tuesday. It was the main event. It's a good match. You had 2 moves that stood out to me. So Trey did this weird move on the outside where he ran up the steps, bounced off the ropes, and gave Sami Callihan a stunner on the outside. That was very athletic.
Yeah, that was like a weird acrobatic stunner. And I'm saying that it was bad by saying it was weird. It was just
just different.
Like Sean was saying, he runs up, he bounces on the apron, boom, catches him on the way down. It was impressive, very athletic, very acrobatic.
But
I could see more of that.
That being said, at one point, Sami Callihan folds up Trey in a little package and then just drops him. Just
that package
boom.
pile driver looks devastating.
And
it does.
I would not be surprised if he was really out. Like, whoa.
Yeah, I want to highlight one other move that Sami Callihan did during Impact this week, and it's when he had Trey Miguel in the corner, and he's on top of the turnbuckle, and Miguel's kind of in between the ropes in a weird way, like in the corner, and he puts a Boston Crab on him while he's in the corner.
I remember that one. Yeah.
I was impressed by that. I like that.
Now, to the match, the title match, title for title.
Main events.
This full match, Moose was in control. Moose was doing things to Rick Swann, and Rick Swann was selling things that was just like, holy crap. Like, when he just threw him off the ropes, and what was it, back body drop, and he flipped like 6 times.
Yeah, that was a massive back body drop, and normally you're thinking back body drops, not a big move, right? It's one of those momentum changers where
not when Moose
your
is doing it.
Comes off the ropes and you flip him over your back and you kind of get control of the match. But this was completely different because when Moose did it, now Moose is a big guy. I don't know his exact size, but he looks like a tall guy. Rich Swann,
a monster over
not
Swann.
so much, right? And then Moose goes down. Boom, does a back body drop, and you see Rich Swann do a 540, and then he pretty much lands on his face, and as he's landing and laying on the mat, you can kind of see drool just coming out of his mouth like he just got knocked out. Nice selling Rich Swann, both pieces. One, doing the 540 in the air, being willing to land on your face, and then selling it, which I hope you were selling it with the drool. I hope there was no serious damage there. But yeah, that was really impressive.
Which this is going to come up a little bit later. You have the move. Holy cow. Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, the move, right? And we're going to have our little segment toward the end. That's going to be, what do we think were the top 5 devastating moves of the week? And this one's on there. I'm not going to tell you what number it's at, but this one's on there.
That's how quickly he got up on the ropes.
So Rich Swann he was able to, I forgot the progress, but he was able to knock Moose down. Moose is on the ground. Rich Swann's going up to the top rope. He's going to do an attack on Moose to try and get momentum going his way. And then all of a sudden, Moose just pops up. And he runs over to the corner where Rich Swann is on top of the turnbuckle, on top of the ropes. He runs up there. He gets on the top rope with them. And then he picks him up, grabs him, and he does this fall away moonsault flippy slam, and that's probably the most technical term I can give it. And my jaw was on the floor. I literally had to pick up my jaw from the floor, put it back into place, because I'm thinking, a man this size shouldn't be able to move this quickly. he shouldn't have that level of agility, you know, and it was just so impressive. And if you haven't seen it, I think we're gonna have a clip or maybe a still of it later on.
Yeah.
All right. So if you haven't actually watched it, stay tuned. You're going to see it. It was really impressive seeing the speed of this guy and the agility to get up on the top rope, stand with Rich Swann, and then like, well, we're gonna flip and fly. Here we go. It was fun. It was really fun. That match overall was such a great match to watch.
Now, here's the downer part. Come the next episode on Impact after Sacrifice, Don Callis comes out while Rick Swann is celebrating. And, well, he was kind of celebrating. He was just talking about moving on to Kenny Omega. And, like, I don't know why they did it this way. Rick Swann, get your gonads and come on now. Don't let Don Callis come out and pop your balloon. You are a dual champion. Act like it. You know, go up against Kenny Omega. You're probably going to lose, but make it look like you're going to win. I mean, well, you and me know that right now they're selling Kenny Omega like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well, what did Don Callis call him? Don Callis called him, how do you refer to it? He called Rich Swann something like, you know, you're really good, you're a 10-year pro, but Kenny Omega is a wrestling god. And I think that's the way he described it. I'm not sure about the first part of that, but when he was talking about Kenny Omega, he's like
a great.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely giving Rich Swann a lot of praise, and it makes me think that there's a backstory between those two. Maybe Don Callis, as the Invisible Hand, at some point helped Rich Swann in his career. Maybe that's why Rich Swann wasn't really getting aggressive with Don Callis.
I don't care. Got to do it. Got to do it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that part with them both on the mic. I mean, they both did great work in there. It made me engaged. It made me want to stay and watch more of it. Now, it makes me think because Don Callis, during their interaction, Don Callis mentioned a lot about the one-winged angel. Did you start to get the feeling that Rich Swann may be the first man to kick out of the one-winged angel when it comes to Rebellion?
I wouldn't mind that.
I started getting that feeling. Don Callis is really adding this in there. He's really saying one-winged angel. And at one point he said it 3 times in a row. Kind of yelled it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, is this setting him up where someone finally kicks out without putting their foot on a barbed wire exploding rope?
Now, you know who I want that to be, but I wouldn't mind Rick Swann. Rick Swann, only 30 at that. So, hey. Anyways, moving on from Impact.
Whoa. We had one more. We had one more match to cover for Sacrifice.
Which match? Go ahead. What I forget?
With my boy, Black Taurus.
Oh, I was skipping that one. I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right, that's fine.
That match was underwhelming. It was completely underwhelming. And honestly, they threw your boy around the ring for most of the match.
I know.
He got the 1, 2, 3, but I'm sorry. He's talking about Decay and Reno Scum. It was an underwhelming match. Just saying. That's why I was skipping it.
Decay looked good. I'm kind of sad to see my boy Black Taurus, and I can't roll my R's, so I do apologize for that. I think Matt Stryker was doing it much better. But yeah, he was taking a beating during that match. He ended up getting the pin, but how much does that matter when you're getting beat the entire time?
When they were not putting them over.
They were not, and I saw him headbutts one of the competitors from Reno Scum, and I was sad to see no one got impaled. So
maybe a little bit of blood. A little bit.
It's a good thing, though. It's a good thing, right? We don't want any lawsuits in our hand. Moving on.
All right. Moving on to AEW, and again, I'm gonna jump around. I might not touch on everything, like matches that are underwhelming. But
so we're skipping the Cody match then, right?
Yes, we are. As much as I love talking about Penta, we are not talking about the botch there that is obviously noticeable. So
And by botch, you mean that roll up that Cody Rhodes did, where he was supposed to put his leg over Penta's shoulder, but he didn't actually get it over his shoulder. So all Penta had to do to kick out of that was just go
Roll.
lift up his arm, any little bit, and he would have been out of that. Yeah. But Penta did a good job of selling that. Like, he was stuck in it, though. You got to give him credit for that. He did a good job of selling that.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Cody messes up at least 3 times a match.
Don't be so hard on the man. This stuff is challenging. I wouldn't be able to do a tenth of what they can do in the ring.
True. He is athletic.
Here we
I'll
are,
give him
fans. We're
I'll give him
criticizing him.
He
We're
is
sorry.
athletic.
We appreciate everything that you do.
But moving on to someone I like a little bit more, and someone else who I might start liking a little bit more, even though I do love this other guy as a wrestler. So Sting comes out with Darby Allin, which, you know, that's cool. Darby's talking. And then, of course, your guy has to interrupt because he's a big asshole, Mr. Lance Archer, with Jake the Snake.
Yeah, with a name like Murder Hawk, you can interrupt anybody. Okay.
I don't know. It is Sting, man.
It's Sting.
But more importantly, because I know that they're going to do Lance Archer, Darby Allin, whatever. But more importantly, Team Taz comes out. And Taz is about to talk, but Brian Cage takes the mic. And I love this because Brian Cage, I saw it coming a mile away. I don't know if you did, but I saw it coming a mile away. Where he goes up to Sting like he's going to like lay in the Sting. He's like, I respect you, man. And that's all we need is a face Brian Cage. Woo! Because that dude's a monster already. Think of him face.
Yeah, think of him going against Team Taz. And it's interesting to see because wasn't it just a few weeks ago or very recently that Lance Archer himself was a face and then he's taken this heel turn, and now you have Brian Cage, who was previously a heel, taking that face turn. So I like how those things...
Think Brian Cage versus Murder Hawk? Uh-oh.
You mean after Murder Hawk takes the title off Darby Allin?
Well,
Maybe.
No.
Yeah, well, we might see that. You know, Brian Cage shows respect to Sting, much to the dismay of Team Taz. So I'm sure that Brian Cage is going to have a nice feud coming up with the members of Team Taz. So that's going to keep him occupied for a little bit.
Okay, so moving on from there, I need you to share your thoughts because we haven't addressed something for the last, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks. I think it's only been 2 weeks. You haven't given your thoughts on Christian Cage.
I think everything that I've seen so far has almost felt underwhelming when it comes to Christian Cage. You think when he came out at the... what was the name of that pay-per-view? Revolution. When he came out at Revolution, like, you know, looking back on it, didn't it feel a little underwhelming?
Well, he didn't do nothing.
Yeah, he didn't do it. There wasn't any type of in-ring interview or anybody to kind of announce his presence.
It wasn't like
introduce
Sting.
him, if you will.
It wasn't like
certainly
Sting.
Wasn't. How big was Sting when he came back? You know, how big of a deal did they make it? They made it huge. What do they do to Christian? Like, well, we'll give him this nice little video package. We'll give him some music. We'll have him walk to the ring, say nothing, sign a piece of paper, walk out.
The one thing they almost did that they should have went through with is we almost hit what's it called, the Unprettier?
The Unprettier or the Kill Switch. I don't know what he
On
calls it
Kenny
anymore,
Omega.
what he's allowed to call it.
He should have hit it. They should have let him hit it because that would have done something there.
No, I think having him almost get it, I think that said a lot more because now you want to see it happen. Now you want to watch Impact to see is he going to do it this week
Kenny too
or
much,
next
though.
week.
They're protecting Kenny way too much.
They are. But I think everything they're doing with Christian Cage has been a little bit underwhelming so far, and I'd like to see more. I like that shirt though. Outwork everyone. I want that shirt. Right. I don't know if it's on sale yet. I gotta check that out. But
just wanted to get your thoughts on some Christian Cage there. I know he's one of your favorites. That if people don't know,
I like him. Yeah.
he was one of Sean's favorites. Just saying.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Sure is.
So,
Great tag team. Starts with the Brood. Remember that team? The Brood. That's
thoughts
old.
on Pinnacle?
Pinnacle. I like it. I like what they're doing. They are taking over as a heel faction, which de facto means that
Inner Circle's
Jericho
a
and the
face.
Inner Circle goes face. And they didn't really have to do anything, and they turned face. How easy was that, right?
Does this mean Sammy gets a haircut? Because that's a straight up heel haircut.
Maybe. He just might. He just might. But I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch those two factions go at each other.
It's
Yeah,
interesting.
MJF against Jericho. Yeah.
It's interesting that AEW is playing the long game here, and the Inner Circle wasn't on this episode, making you feel like Pinnacle did just take them out.
It looked like they did.
Now, moving on to somebody who will never be taken out, who will always come back for a beating.
Freshly
Mr. John
squeezed.
Moxley.
Oh.
Mr. John Moxley and Mr. Eddie Kingston having a match with those good brothers. And again, Moxley said it. He said it in the promo. They're cheap shot artists. And what did they do? They took a cheap shot.
Oh man, everything about this match, everything leading up to this match was really fun to watch, really entertaining. Yet Moxley and Kingston, they were talking crap about Gallows and Anderson. And you know, the whole time I'm thinking, this is going to be a good match between the two. And I think he even had Kingston at the end saying, like, can we legally say Bullet Club on air? Can we legally say that? And that just got, like, those things, that, you know, they get a pop. They get a pop from me. So they definitely deserved it on that one. It was a great in-ring battle. You know, Anderson got rolled up for the loss, which I think is the second time in a couple of days he took a roll-up. He took a loss, if you include Sacrifice.
Yep.
And then you had Omega and Don Callis come in at the end.
With this, though, all right, so me and you have said this. I don't know if we said it on the pod yet, but Kingston, he's okay in the ring, but he is, like, probably, if not the best, top 3 on the mic.
Yeah, he's really good on the mic. I think of him as AEW's version of MVP. Someone
I think
who
he's
could
better.
see leading a faction, being a mouthpiece for a bigger star who people may think is not good on the mic, but I could definitely see him taking that role. I haven't seen enough of his in-ring action. The only one that comes to mind immediately is that match he had with Moxley, that hardcore match, and you already know how I feel about that one. I didn't like that one personally.
Where I'm going with this, because they did the chair thing, are they working that where Kingston's going to be more of a mouthpiece, especially with Moxley? Because Moxley's good on the mic. He's not fantastic, but he's good. But he's so much better with Kingston there.
Yeah, I mean, that could be like AEW's version of like MVP and Bobby Lashley.
Even though, I'm going to be honest, we start bringing up Tupac, I'm like, wait, does Moxley listen to Tupac? Now, with that, another little feud that I can get into, even though this tag team has other chickens to fry, but the Young Bucks coming out and stopping them from basically trying to end Moxley's career. And I'd like to see Young Bucks and the Good Brothers go at it.
Oh yeah, I definitely think we're going to see that, and I want to see that very soon. You know, you have the whole thing where Gallows and Anderson are trying to do the Too Sweet, and I almost said Matt and Jeff Hardy, but Matt and Nick Jackson, haha. They wanted nothing to do with the Bullet Club. So
What do I love about
definitely think we're
that?
going to see something going against them.
What do I love about that is Eddie Kingston. When he comes out, he's like, "Oh, you keep doing the You know, didn't we see this like, in the late 90s on TNT? Because it's true. Anybody who remembers keeps thinking that, like, well, hold on. Where did you guys get permission to do that?
Yep.
So, all right, just gonna brush over a couple little bit here. We had a match with Ray Phoenix and I think was it Anholio
And Helico.
and Helico. A fun match. I'm brazing over it.
Meh.
We had Jurassic Express versus what are they called? The Big Money Crew? I don't know.
Yeah,
Again.
it's Jurassic Express Bear Country versus, what does Matt Hardy call his faction or his wannabe faction?
I don't know, but it
Oh,
was
it's like the
unnecessary.
Matt Hardy Empire or something like that.
It was unnecessary. I don't care about Bear Country. I'm gonna be honest. Jurassic Express, really cool in ring, but they're weird. I don't get the dynamic at all.
Yeah. Did you? The spot I like the best of this whole match was when Jurassic Express and Bear Country are in the ring. They're kind of celebrating because they just, kicked out Matt Hardy and his little team. The match was still going on, but they had kicked him out of the ring. And then they're sitting there, they're posing. Marco's stunt gets in the front because he's a really small guy and he starts posing. And then all of a sudden the two guys from Bear Country pick him up, one on each side, and they literally throw him out of the ring. I thought they were going to throw him out of the daily place. He was thrown that far. I was really worried about his health and his safety in that spot. I'm like, wow, he almost ended up in the front row, literally.
What else? I mean, John Silver has a title shot next week. I'm pretty sure it's next week.
Yeah.
And then all right. Are there any other matches I'm missing until I get to the match I want to talk about?
Not match, so to speak, but we had a little section with Miro and Kip Sabian where I think we're going to see a little bit of a division between those two.
Oh, you know it's coming.
Weeks.
You know it's coming. Nero's going to, cut his ties there. Anyways, on to the match of the hour. This was the match of the week. I doubt SmackDown's going to outdo this. I'm going to be honest with you. And yes, it is a women's match. The women's divisions have come a long way. And especially AEW. A lot of people were saying that it was looking rough, but this match, holy cow. We got Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, DMD.
Dr. Britt Baker, okay?
Well, DMD. I was putting her in DMD, right?
DMD, yeah.
She doing the whole. But this match was brutal. This match was like, I cringed multiple times. I don't know if it was what was it Thunder Rosa did to her on the ladder?
She delivered the Death Valley driver from the turnbuckle to the ladder.
Yeah. That was.
Oh man. What was this not an entertaining match?
And then
this was really entertaining.
The curb stomp on the chair. Ooh.
The drop kick with the ladder to the face.
Yep.
Like, that
And
was
then what was
impressive.
the one on the outside? Through the table.
Through the table. Oh, Thunder Rosa did the Thunder Driver from the apron to the table that was on the just
like,
set up
good
on
God.
the ground.
That was to win the match, obviously. Both bloodied. And here's the thing. Eddie Kingston, John Moxley. This is how you sell thumbtacks.
Yeah. What I had in mind this whole time I was watching this match was, one, when this thing is over, I got to give it a standing ovation because it was such a good match. And I definitely thought it was much better than that Moxley-Kingston match that happened a couple of months back. And what made this even better was that it was really uncharted territory for for the competitors, for the women in there, because you're thinking,
Mm-hmm.
how many women's matches have you seen like this, to this length,
many.
to this brutality? And none immediately come to mind for me, and they delivered in a big way. I mean, all of those spots that they hit that you commonly see in the men's matches, creativity here, the willingness for these competitors to go out there and make those sacrifices, because you know it's got to hurt. No
Yep.
matter how you hit a ladder, no matter how you land on that chair, no matter how you get put through that table, it's going to hurt. Dr. Britt Baker took a power bomb onto thumbtacks.
And she
And
sold
then-
that hard.
She sold it much better than John Moxley and
what-
Eddie Kingston.
What sold it more is when she almost got her move in, or she got her move on.
She got
Thunder
the
Rosa
lockjaw in.
rolled, and the
Yeah.
thumbtacks made her let go.
Yeah, I mean, it was a combination of things, because thinking the lockjaw's in, and it's that submission group, a move when she's on the ground. So Thunder Rosa starts to roll back to kind of get out of that move. But she was doing two things. One, she was putting Britt Baker's back onto the thumbtacks, and two, it was almost like she was getting ready to pin Britt Baker. So
And
Britt
with
Baker
that-
had multiple reasons to let go. One, I don't want to get pinned. Two, these thumbtacks probably hurt like hell. I got to get off these things.
And with that, Thunder Rosa was selling the thumbtacks, and she was barely even on them.
Yeah, they did such a good job with this match. I was really impressed with it. And, and when you look at the women's matches now in the past couple of years, and you're thinking across all brands, AEW, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, even Impact, you're thinking of the competitors and how well these women's matches are being put on. What was happening 20 years ago? Right, 20 years ago, women were managers, valets. They were.
No.
WWE
Here's-
had those
right.
bra and panty matches that were just
Well-
ridiculous.
The thing is, they started out with models, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. They were trying to have models be wrestlers, and eventually we grew to have actual women who wrestle be wrestlers, or at least taught how to be wrestlers. Like I did last week, I said how Britt Baker is too gorgeous for me not to like, but as proven through this match, she's damn good in ring too. So,
Absolutely. Again, this match got a standing ovation from me. Not many matches can do that, but this one did it.
all right, so we're gonna move on. NXT, and again, I'm gonna be jumping around a little bit, so bear with. Want to start with what did start it off. Karrion Kross, Finn Balor, and I'm starting it off here because I got mad respect for Scarlett as a character. Wow. Like, she sells what she does so well. Like, I'm watching for her to, what's his name? What are the other two names? Orlean or
Yeah, Oni
can't say
Lorcan,
them.
Danny Burch. Yeah.
yeah, I'm seeing what she's doing, and we all know what's going on, but it's just so fantastic where she does something that everybody knows what's coming, but so done well. It's done so well that you don't care. You don't care that she's doing the manipulation thing because it was done so well.
Yeah, that team of Karrion Kross and Scarlett, like, I want to see them on Raw, SmackDown. I want to see them there, and
All right.
soon.
Let's get one of these matches out of the way. It came later. LA Knight and whoever he fought, whichever cupcake that was, because we're building up the Bronson Reed, and the fact that Bronson Reed came out and tried to put on his jacket just to rip it.
Did
That's
he rip the jacket?
hilarious.
Yeah.
But LA Knight, show me something. Dude's athletic. That move where he just jumps over the top rope, didn't even use it. Any thoughts on that LA Knight?
love him on the mic. I want to see more of that in-ring action. I want to see that feud against Bronson. I have a feeling we're going to be saving that one until, what is it, Stand and Deliver, right ahead of WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to that one.
Okay, so the next one, Dexter Lumis, Austin Theory. This is, I don't know. I have no clue where they're going with this because like they tried to like hug it out, but then Dexter still wanted to fight. So are these guys friends again? Is Austin Theory going to be switching sides? What's going on here? Here's the thing.
Dexter choked him out. I don't know.
I don't care as long as we get to where we need to be. And you know where we need to be, right?
Dexter versus Johnny.
No.
Oh.
Austin versus Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dexter doesn't need a title.
No, he doesn't.
Austin, on the other hand, it'd be really cool to get that feud.
I think if Austin goes his own way, even if Indy Hartwell goes with Austin, you got to give him a title.
Yeah.
I don't think his character by itself alone is going to be enough to carry. He needs that belt, or he needs to be fighting for the belt. Johnny, on the other hand, Johnny doesn't need anything but like 5 minutes of airtime. That's all he needs. Yeah. Whether he's getting put over, whether he's taking the L's on the weekly basis. Yeah.
Why is Dexter Lumis so intriguing without talking?
That's what makes him intriguing.
No, there's something more. Because like his character early on is just like, this dude's a weird psychopath. But now, somehow, without saying a word, his character has evolved.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of that's due to Austin Theory. Right?
Well, I think it started before this.
Like,
but yes,
Stockholm
Austin Theory was around the time.
Yeah.
Because I think this started when he, what's it he hosted?
It was New Year's Evil, was it?
New Year's Evil, that's what it was. It was around then, and it showed personality while hosting.
Yeah, all he did was draw. I don't remember him saying a word.
He didn't say a word.
No.
That was one of the best commentaries, though. Is Wade Barrett's like, how's he gonna host? He doesn't talk. And then the other guy was like, how about you go tell him that? It was like, well, I need to stay here. And all right, moving on. Dakota Kai gets a win.
Hey,
but it doesn't matter.
Get one every once in a while. Yeah.
I just love how Io comes out afterwards and just walks past Dakota like she's nothing. You know the rift is coming.
Yeah.
Gives a contract to Raquel, and we'll see how this goes. Io's annoying. I'm sorry. Yeah. I do not like Io.
But do you like Raquel more or less than Io?
I don't like either.
You gotta choose one to like more. Right?
I cannot. I'm sorry.
Who's going over at Stand and Deliver? It's gonna be.
I'll
Raquel.
pick a winner, but I won't like it. Can we get the Money in the Bank briefcase? Can Charlotte Flair show up? I like her more than these two.
Maybe if Peyton Royce went down to NXT, she'd have a chance. She might get an opportunity.
All right, moving on to a match I do want to see. Someone came out, interrupted Santos, his little celebration with his buddies. How about we talk about that? What's your thoughts on Jordan Devlin?
Yeah, a little Jordan Devlin, a little Santos Escobar. I mean, there was some good trash talk going on between those two, right?
And then a cheap shot from Jordan. Oh.
Cheap shot and then he ran. Okay, well, we're just building up to Stand and Deliver.
That's the purpose of cheap shot.
Yeah, exactly. I think Devlin has an upcoming match with NXT UK for his title there. I wouldn't be surprised to see him drop the UK title.
And
I'd like to see him come over to NXT like this NXT. I'd love to see that, because how many people does Santos Escobar really have to go against for that cruiserweight title?
You're right.
How many people has he had contending against? You're thinking Leon Ruff was thrown into the North American picture. Like, Leon Ruff fits cruiserweight.
Right.
Johnny Gargano fits cruiserweight. Like, there's a lot of people you can say fit cruiserweight, but they have them going for different titles. Nothing wrong with that, but you're leaving Escobar with not much talent. He's been in some tag matches. You've seen him against Karrion Kross, but Karrion Kross is nowhere near cruiserweight.
Here's my question to you. Would it have been cooler to not have the cruiserweight, because there's not much in the cruiserweight division, and have someone like Escobar have the North American title? I think he's the perfect heel. What's that?
He's a great heel. I see why they have that cruiserweight title.
Right. I get you.
Right,
but they don't have enough. They either don't have enough, or they don't showcase enough talent to be in there.
And that's
like we're talking about the X division.
Yeah. Who's lining up to face Escobar? So far, it's Jordan Devlin.
Right. What? Atlas, who's a guaranteed loss every week.
The people who would line up against Escobar are probably the same ones who run 205 and main events.
What, Swerve?
Swerve? They're not gonna. I mean, even Swerve, I imagine if he got a title shot, he'd probably go after a North American if he got the push.
And this is what I'm talking about. I think Escobar is the perfect heel to have a title. Personally.
But Johnny's a good heel. Come on now.
But Johnny doesn't need one. I think Escobar's character does need one to come over. I don't think Johnny does.
Absolutely right. Johnny doesn't need it.
But Escobar's character is enhanced by the title, or being in the title mix.
Wait. Didn't Santos challenge Jordan for a unification match?
I think so, yeah.
So, hey.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. So, next up, we're going Ciampa. I don't know what's going on. Ciampa, like, he wins the match, right? Did he win?
Did he?
I think he won, and they got beat up after.
Yeah. Tommaso,
he did win.
He did the Willow's Bell. He got the pin. He got the win, and then he got beat up
after because Thatcher wasn't there.
2-on-1 Imperium.
3-on-1.
Tommaso Ciampa.
3-on-1.
Yeah, Walter. Yeah. Walter comes out to the ring. Now it's a triple team against Tommaso, and then Walter hits him with the power bomb, and they just stand over him. That's gonna be fun because. Where's Thatcher going, right? Who's Thatcher going to side with? You've kind of been saying that you're going to see Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa go separate ways.
We'll see.
So.
Next. Oh, by the way, I'm going to say, I texted it to you, but I'm going to put it out there. I want Thatcher to go face, then go on his own, and I need a fight pit match. Thatcher and the Bruiserweight. I need it to happen. I need Thatcher and Pete Dunne in the fight pit. Come on.
That'd be a really good match. I mean, you have Pete Dunne saying he's the best technical wrestler out there, and I mean Timothy Thatcher is a pretty darn good technical wrestler too. Yeah, that would be really fun to watch.
Moving on to the crazy people, the idiots. Your undisputed error. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. What in the world is going on? Getting arrested? Because Kyle O'Reilly is trying to commit vehicle homicide on Adam Cole? What?
Yep. not quite sure where this is going. I hope they lasso the thing back in and
And then you got Regal
not
saying,
get too extreme.
you got Regal saying, if the charges get dropped. What?
Yeah, they'll be back next week. They'll be back next week.
The
They'll spend
best.
a week in jail.
The best of the whole segment was Adam Cole screaming at Kyle O'Reilly while both of them are handcuffed. And all you hear, because you know what the cop must have said to him, or Kyle or Adam Cole knows what the cops are supposed to say, because all you hear is, I can't calm down. It made me laugh. All right, moving on to the end. We have the tag match, and it's a good match, actually. There was no real tag team work between Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, but they were dominating the other guys until Finn Balor made a mistake.
Ooh.
Big time mistake.
You mean that shotgun dropkick that sent Oney Lorcan into Scarlet?
Yep. And Karrion Kross lost his mind.
Yeah.
Like, bet you Finn Balor doesn't make that mistake anymore. He ain't going near Scarlet ever again.
No, it just adds layers and adds dimensions to that stand and deliver feud.
It does.
Kross he just attacked him. I mean, attacking is an understatement where he choked him out, right?
And then Orkin too.
It was a bad day for Prince Balor.
It was like, whoever was around, I'm getting you all. And Scarlet had to pull him off.
Yeah.
He still wasn't
done.
done.
And at the end, Scarlet's telling him that he can't escape fate. And everything happens for a reason.
That's terrifying.
Tick tock.
Now, what would be cool is if Karrion Kross wins the title, says, you know something? I've just dismantled everybody here. I need an actual challenge. And that's when he gets called up to, let's say, SmackDown. And then they have another tournament for the title.
Oh, man. I think I would like that idea more had they not already forfeited previous titles.
Hey,
Right,
you know something?
through injuries, right? Karrion forfeits his through injury.
But the other one wasn't it like a ladder match?
Yeah, the North American one that Keith Lee forfeited because he wanted just one title, apparently. Yeah.
I'm just saying, you get another tournament, you can get Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole.
Too soon.
Hey.
Too soon.
Anyways, on to Raw. And, I mean, what can we say? Raw is Raw. There are things to talk about.
I don't want to spend too much time on Raw, but the past couple of weeks seemed really good, right? We had some good quality
solid
matches, programming. This week, especially considering it was a go-home show for the Fastlane pay-per-view coming up this weekend, I was left wanting a little bit more out of it.
Well, let's start with the bad. I'm going to start with the really bad. And I've complained about this the last couple of weeks. Shane and Braun. I'm done. I don't want it. I get it. The elbow drop was cool. But the slime, I get it. It's for kids. Let's just put it out there. And I know there's not. I mean, hopefully we reach a lot of people with this. Don't be Braun Strowman. If somebody calls you stupid, don't beat them up. Don't get mad and try to hurt them.
We don't condone violence, right? We don't.
No violence. Tell a grown-up, or if you're grown, work at it, outsmart them. Because you're not stupid. You can figure that out. Everybody's got a weakness.
Yeah, this is the storyline I'm not very engaged with. It's not compelling to me, right? You're thinking Shane's the bully, Braun's the kid in the playground that nobody likes. At one point, I thought I was watching Nickelodeon when I saw the green slime. I'm thinking, what are we doing? 2 buckets of green slime? Why are we doing this? And,
Why?
I'm thinking Shane's character is childish, which almost makes sense when you consider that WWE programming is geared toward what age range? PG.
True.
I'm thinking, well,
it's still.
Do I like it? No. There's other things that he could do to get heat. This is almost along the lines of Riddle for me. It's like when they come
Speaking
on
of bad.
screen, I don't really want to watch. Like, that's an excuse for me to either put it on mute or walk away for 5 minutes and do anything else, like run into a brick wall or try and hold my breath until I pass out, something like that. It's just not entertaining for me. The storyline's childish, and I get that they're trying to give heat to Shane because Braun's going to literally rip him apart at some point. But you could have gone about it in a much better way. There's a much better storyline that you could have created rather than this whole bully storyline.
Speaking of another bad one, and the match itself wasn't bad. Mustafa Ali and Riddle. The match wasn't bad. What's bad here is we continue to have this faction that continues to get beat. And I realize what the problem is here. I realize it because of AEW. AEW is a faction that's always getting beat. But you know why it's okay for that faction to get beat? Faction is comic relief. Retribution is a serious faction. And if it's serious
comedy.
heel faction. So they should be winning. If they were comic relief, then it's okay for them to lose. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. And I think another thing that kind of adds into all of this is, to some level, I think WWE and their storylines are almost handcuffed to that PG rating that they continue to produce. Because when you look at AEW, when you look at Impact, those aren't PG or PG-13. That's like TVMA storylines you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
If WWE made a change and they got more to that TVMA storyline or
Slightly. You don't
rating,
have to get all the way.
right? But you can do so much more through storylines. Here we have Matt Riddle, going around backstage with his little scooter. Really?
And him and the New Day, and they're all going to get scooters.
Much better than matching tattoos. Okay.
Speaking of another bad one, and again, it's not the match that was bad, but the New Day and the Hurt Business. I think it was the wrong time to drop the belt. Just randomly on Raw. Before a pay-per-view.
Yeah. And they have no plans, as of right now, no plans to even defend those titles at Fastlane.
No.
Right?
No.
What did we see? We saw AJ Styles randomly insert himself to create a storyline.
Here's the thing, though. That's one of my good. I'm going to take a break from the bad because I got more bad. I've got one more bad. Technically two. But AJ Styles is not. Because AJ Styles is always good. So...
He is. He's such a good athlete. He's such a good character. What I don't like is he is so good. Why did he not have any other storylines besides this one that he literally had to insert himself into?
I agree. Even though, I'm sorry, I still want to see it. I love almost every once in a while almost does stuff where it's just like, yup, the big man knows.
Right, like this whole time I'm thinking, all right, so AJ and Omos are challenging the tag team titles at WrestleMania, and I'm thinking, wait, did we just forget, or are we skipping the fact that Fastlane is happening this weekend? And
Yeah,
if
what
we've seen
happened,
anything
right?
from WWE is that we can throw together a match in 4 seconds, but we're going to skip one pay-per-view and wait 3 more weeks.
You know what happened, right?
Probably not.
the internet, from my understanding, has been exploding because AJ Styles doesn't have a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, again, it comes back to my point. Like, you have this talented character, you have a 2-day event. Each of these days is going to be at least 3 hours. So you're thinking you have 6 to 7 hours of programming to fill. And as of right now, less than a month away from WrestleMania, you don't have a storyline for AJ Styles. Like,
You couldn't build up this particular storyline a little bit more?
No, but it kind of makes sense. If fans are like blowing up the internet, that they're feeling upset because AJ doesn't have a story or a match.
Fantastic.
I get it. It's a 2-day event. It's gonna be like 6 to 7 hours. How can you not have it? But I'm hoping that the New Day continues to wear that sweet Mortal Kombat gear.
So moving on to another bad, mixed in with some good. So Damian Priest lays waste to Jackson Ryker and Elias, but now we get the build up to Damian Priest and Bad Bunny versus Miz and Morrison, and I don't care. I don't care.
I know, but at least he has a storyline heading into WrestleMania. Right. At least he had one properly built. And I have to say, Raw has done a really good job of building Damian Priest, right? We may not like the direction.
How far has The Miz fallen? In just that amount of time.
He just had, but I think we had that suspicion. I mean, we knew he had the beef with Bad Bunny for months, right? So it's no surprise. No surprise he's coming back down to this level, so to speak.
It would have been better if Bad Bunny would have picked the fight with him to reintroduce it.
I think so. I mean, it was nice that Bad Bunny had traded the 24/7 title to R-Truth. You know, I really enjoy those R-Truth spots.
The retired title? I need the retired title.
They need that thing retired, and quickly retire it. Let R-Truth be the last champion for it. Get rid of it. Let him go down in history as like the 88th time champion for the 24/7 title. Whatever. But he got his baby back. And then,
moving on.
I forgot where I was going with that thought process. Miz, he can do storylines all over the place, right? He doesn't need a title. He doesn't need to be chasing a title. He's entertaining in every way. The part that I didn't like is that Bad Bunny got hit with a guitar, and we didn't even see it live, right? It's like he got hit with a guitar, and then all of a sudden we had to go back to a replay. And it reminded me back to the Royal Rumble where Bianca eliminates Bayley, but no one saw it live. It's like, oh, you just missed Bayley get eliminated.
Now, moving on to another bad. It's not because it's bad. It's because I'm done. Give me my payoff. I think you agree. Alexa and Randy, give us our payoff. They're not going to have a match at Fastlane. The Fiend is showing up.
I hope so. I hope so. All of this is building for the Fiend to return, and if he doesn't return at Fastlane, I'm gonna boycott the next Raw. Just kidding. I'm probably gonna watch it, but no,
all right.
I feel like boycotting it.
So we'll get to the good. So
I still got a bad. I got a minor bad.
Oh, who's your other bad?
All right. So it's kind of tied in with the good, because what do we see this week?
No, this is good. This is good. I don't care what you say. It's good.
We saw Warrior Asuka return, which was great, but it was at the expense of Shayna Baszler.
I don't care.
Which is bad, and I'm done.
Shayna kept fighting. Who looked like a dummy was Nia Jax. She got hit twice and was like, I ain't helping her.
Oh, yeah. It's good mixed with
Asuka
bad.
was
It's
a mad
good
woman,
because,
though.
yeah, Asuka looked really good in that match, and then, of course, it was at the expense of Shayna. So Shayna gets buried again.
All I need is some green mist now. Give me some green mist back.
Hey, we saw some green mist over the weekend at Sacrifice, though.
We
with
did,
Rosemary.
but that was weird. It was odd.
How is it weird when she does it, but not weird when Asuka does it?
It's because it's Asuka's thing. For me. You know,
Fair enough.
the green mist was cheating.
Oh wait, I do have one more bad. I have one more bad before we move on. The Rhea Ripley videos.
Oh,
it's
I
bad.
wasn't even gonna mess with it.
I just want to see her in the ring. I want to see her with the competition. And I like the part where she was saying in her video, "I'm sick of all these daydreamers. It's time for nightmares." And I'm thinking, I'm sick of all these Rhea videos. I just want to see her in the ring. I want to see the nightmare. I mean, she's got to make an appearance at Fastlane, right? She's got to show up.
Doubtful. Moving on to the main event, where we did have some good mic work with Bobby and Drew. It was all right. It wasn't bad.
You know, and Sheamus got involved a little bit in the beginning, at the opening of the show.
But the match between Bobby and Sheamus was fantastic. It was a very good match, but I really like the Drew getting involved at the end. These three right now are really killing it for Raw. You know, till the Fiend comes back. But Raw has great talent, and if they did what they're doing with these three guys, they'd be killing it every week. But they don't.
It's almost like creative thinking. Let's put 90% of our effort and energy into the WWE Championship, and then we'll put the other 10% of our effort into every single thing else we have on the show. That's what it feels like sometimes, because we got another really good physical match that involved Sheamus, and I know he's been taking a lot of losses recently, but he's looked good doing it.
All right, but we're running a little long, so we got 2 more segments left to do, so we got to go a little rapid fire here.
All right.
Let's first, Sean, tell the people the rules of the game.
All right, pay-per-view pick'em is easy. You're going to pick the winner of the match, and then you are going to assign confidence points to say how confident you feel. So right now, we know, as of right now, Thursday night, we have 5 known matches for Fastlane. So as we pick our winners, we're going to assign them a point value between 1 and 5. We're going to give the most points, 5, to the match that we feel the most confident with the outcome in, and the match that we have the least confidence in, we're going to give it to a 1. So we have 5 known matches, so we'll be posting on social media as more matches get added, so we may be changing this up, so keep an eye out on social media for our new picks depending on what gets added. But let's get to the 5 known matches. Our first
also, if you're playing at home, feel free to let us know what your picks are before the matches start. That's the only way it counts.
Yeah,
you can beat us.
It's kind of cheating when you do it at the end and you get them all right after the show's over. So,
but
no cheating.
Sean, let's start the matches.
All right.
Or with.
The first known match that we have are the women tag titles. We have Shayna Baszler, we have Nia Jax, probably Reginald coming with them, and they're going to defend against WrestleMania opponents Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks.
Yeah, this is nonsense, not necessary.
Yep. Who do you got?
I got Shayna and Nia.
You got Shayna and Nia. All right, how many points you giving them?
I'm giving them 2. Actually, I'm not confident. I have no clue what they do sometimes.
I know. And this whole time I'm thinking, what is this build for? Where are they going with this storyline? Why are Banks and Belair getting another shot at the tag titles? And I guess it's to create that tension and that feud between Banks and Belair, because we haven't seen them actually engage in a match together or anything physical. So I think this is going to start to show it, but I have a hard time believing Belair and Banks get the title. So I got Baszler and Jax with 4. I feel really confident, foolishly confident in this one. So I give it a 4. The next known match that we have is the Universal Championship between Roman Reigns, who is going to defend against Daniel Bryan.
Taking Reigns for 4.
Taking Reigns for 4, okay. All right. So for me, like I'm really curious to see if WWE is going to put together a triple threat at WrestleMania between Roman, Edge, and Daniel Bryan, but it's definitely not going to include main event Jey Uso. So I've got Roman, and I'm going with 3. Now, as a bonus, because we're recording this before SmackDown, and on SmackDown, Edge is going to return to the ring for the first time in a lot of years. For his first singles, we think it's going to be Edge. I think it's going to be Edge. He's going to be the special guest enforcer. But Edge. I wouldn't be surprised if WWE did this weird, wacky finish to the end of it, and they both ended up as special enforcers.
True.
I wouldn't doubt it. But if I had to pick, I'm going Edge. No point value for that one because that's just a bonus.
Just fun.
Just for fun. Just for
All right, what's up next?
We have the Intercontinental Championship. We have Big E defending against Apollo.
I'm taking Apollo for 3.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Man. I've got Big E with 5. I know he was sidelined a few weeks ago, and he's been getting attacked by Apollo. I think this is Big E's chance for a little bit of revenge. You know, I don't think it's time for Big E to drop the belts. Not to Apollo, not yet. Man, this one's
maybe a comeback tour.
Ooh, it might. So you're giving Apollo 3, okay? And that one's gonna make or break. You know, whatever our. This is gonna be like that tag championship.
I already
match
know which
for
one's
Impact.
getting 1 for both of us.
Probably. All right. Next, we have a singles action for nothing other than a blow-off match because WWE already said who will be challenging Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, so this match becomes less interesting because the outcome of it just doesn't seem to matter. At least not yet. We have Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. I mean, they really put on some brutal matches these past couple of weeks on Raw, and we've talked about getting that pay-per-view quality on Raw. I hope this one lives up to pay-per-view quality, but who do you got?
Drew for 5.
Got Drew. All right.
Playing bingo here.
Man. See, we got a good match here because since Drew already has his shot at WrestleMania, I'm going to go with Sheamus. Because earlier this week, you know, he began to insert himself into that feud with Lashley on Monday. And in my mind, I'm thinking it could lead to some drama building up to WrestleMania and even after WrestleMania when you have Sheamus involved. So I'm going with the Irishman, Sheamus, for 2. He's looked really impressive as of late. So Irishman, don't let me down. All right. And our last...
Of course, for 1.
Yep. Our last known match is an intergender match between Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton.
Just for fun. Just to mess around. I don't care if I win this one. I think you might got me. Give me Alexa for 1. I want to go Fiend. But, like, how about this? We both get, so it doesn't matter, but we both get, let's say, 5 extra bonus points if the Fiend shows up.
I'm already expecting Bray Wyatt or the Fiend or any other of his creations and personalities to show up.
So that's just Bray Wyatt embodies.
Yeah, we both have him coming back, so that's a wash. Those 5 points won't matter, but sure, we'll make it a million. But for this one, I was going to go with Alexa, but in my mind, you know, and we were talking earlier in the week, like
in your mind, are the voices talking?
Some of them are, but you know, why and how did I win the Impact pay-per-view pick'em? Because I didn't know many of the storylines. I was just picking information that I had. When it comes to WWE, I'm thinking too much. I'm thinking, what would I like to see? What do I want to see? What creative direction do I want them to take to fit what I want to see? And sometimes I think that's why I lose these matches. But for this one, I'm going with Randy Orton, and here's why. I don't think it's going to be an actual match.
No,
because if it was an actual match, Randy would win. He would RKO, he would punt her head off. She stands no chance against him. But considering that they're expecting a live crowd at WrestleMania, I don't think we're not gonna get a Fiends Orton cinematic match. And I think that's what this one becomes. I think we're gonna have that cinematic match between Randy and Alexa, and I think we're gonna get a
Yeah, but when
that?
is what has anybody with fiend powers ever lost a cinematic match?
Wait, one more time.
When has anybody with fiend powers lost a cinematic match?
But coming back to this one, I think as a better way to set up a Fiend Randy Orton WrestleMania match, you have Randy win, and then the Fiend just comes after him as revenge for what he does to Alexa. That's where my mind's going with this. So I'm giving Orton a big one. That's all I had left.
One.
All right.
All right.
So
Final segment.
final segments. Yes.
Let's get your top 5 most devastating moves in.
Yeah, and there were a lot of good moves that we saw this week.
Yes, there were. You had to narrow it down. So, Sean, number 5.
Number 5, it is going to be Moose and the massive backdrop that he delivered to Rich Swann, where Rich Swann does that 540, lands on his face, and starts drooling. That's coming in at number 5. Checking in at number 4, absolutely. Checking at number 4 is going to be Shane McMahon's elbow drop from the top turnbuckle, the one where Braun Strowman is laying on the announcer's table.
I
Shane
debated
McMahon,
this one.
elbow
I'm just
drop,
saying,
breaks it.
I debated this one because I don't want nothing to do with any of that. But hey,
I know the storyline itself is garbage. I'm not a big fan of the storyline, but I do enjoy seeing Shane fly around, sacrifice his body, and go through tables. I do enjoy that.
What's your number 2? No, 3. Number 3.
Number 3 is Thunder Rosa finishing Britt Baker with a Thunder Driver from the apron
Ooh,
through the table.
I mean, they was already bloodied, but that looked rough.
Yes.
Number 2.
Number 2 is going to be Eddie Edwards delivering that backpack stunner to Brian Myers from the apron through the table at Sacrifice.
Talk about sacrificing your own body. Like,
They
ouch.
both looked in pain after that.
All right, for the number 1, who's got the number 1?
For those of you who were paying attention earlier, you already know by process of elimination what number 1 is, but if you forgot, I'm going to remind you. Number 1 is that Agile Moose. When he jumps up on the top rope with Rich Swann, picks him up, does a fall away, moonsault, slam, flippy thing. That comes in at number 1. And he's got the video showing it, and it's going to look a lot better than how I describe it. It's really impressive.
All right, so that's the show for the week. We gave you a little extra this week, so hopefully you enjoy. Sean, them words of wisdom.
Now it's a great week. Lawson 316 Day, St. Patrick's Day. If you haven't already, crack open a cold one. Stun your neighbor, maybe not. I don't know. Have fun though. Drink responsibly. Drink responsibly.
There we
go.
It's about to be moving season. Make sure, if you're moving, lift your legs. Now.